Day 3 of testing in Bahrain and the sandbags are lifting, but the problems aren't. Let's break it down. First, Aston Martin. On their final day of testing, just 6 laps, Honda's 2026 engine is down on power, efficiency, and buried in reliability issues. They're averaging just over 240 kilometers per day. Mercedes, Ferrari around 600 kilometers. That's a massive gap. Now they're limiting running due to a shortage of parts, and there are even suggestions that Honda is down to its last battery on site. Andy Cowell is in Japan right now trying to fix all of this right now. Aston and Honda don't even have the laps to understand this fully. Dark times for the team. Now onto the engine politics. The compression ratio fight just got even more complicated and stupid, frankly. A vote is coming on a new rule, we know, requiring engines to comply with the 16:1 limit both in cold and hot temperature tests. But here's the twist. Some manufacturers want a hot-only test. That would allow them to exceed the 16:1 when cold, then drop to a legal limit when up to temperature. The new proposal blocks that, which means teams may now vote against their own push. If this fails, nothing changes. Engines lock in March 1st. What a complete and utter crapshoot. Stefano Domenicali has criticized Max for speaking publicly about the new regulations. He said he prefers concerns to be clarified internally and that there's no point highlighting things that fans don't have interest in, which is an utter load of crap. Domenicali has shown that he knows very little about what fans actually want, and Max and other drivers issuing criticisms are being validated daily by the FIA trialing a wide range of things on track during testing because they fear that the racing is going to suck and that they need to fix it. Now, on a technical twist, speaking of things that they're changing, teams are actively discussing reducing electrical power output. Maybe it's time to admit a 50-50 split between electric and combustion won't work. That tells you that energy management is still very much a very real concern. For paddock talk, again, lots of rumors, lots of talk of the pecking order. Apparently, we're seeing a lot of Mercedes and P1. Behind them, Ferrari and McLaren and Red Bull are basically interchangeable depending on who you ask. Then there's a clear gap to the midfield with Alpine and Haas leading that group. But the fastest today in the last day of testing, well, you have Charles Leclerc P1, Lando Norris P2, and Verstappen in P3. That's testing wrapped up. What's your reads? Who's fastest? Let me know.